Gonna tell that one.
What is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here. It's Dean 7904. If you want to go get all technical, that is the DFS handle. It's 5:30 on the East Coast, 2:30 on the West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time. So of course, that means it's time for the flagship show here at Rotogrinders. It's called Grinderslive. Joining me today, it is a Friday, so we're rolling out a 3-man booth. Batting first, it's Kid Yahoo. We were regaling about our childhood. We were regaling about video games and wrestlers. That was our pre-show conversation. Not one word mentioned on baseball. We want to keep the show organic, keep it fresh, keep the takes fresh. What's up, Curtis? How's Friday treating you?
It's Friday. It was a good conversation. We've got all of us have some good stories in our bags here. We can tell at some point in time. But hey, it's a good slate. We've got tons of pitching. We've got Coors Field. We've got Derek Carty. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we do have Derek Carty, CEO of the Blitz, CEO of the Bat. Yeah, and it's funny that Kirky says it's a good slate. I don't know if it is a good slate. We'll talk. It's a weird slate, Carty. First of all, how are you? And secondly, maybe you have the same sort of thought process as I do. Is there's a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, I guess you can play that. Sure, I guess you can play that. I guess you can play this. That's okay. And nothing pops outside of like Coors, 12.5 total with two of the worst pitchers in the slate. And then it feels like there's a bunch of pitchers that are like, I don't know, threes. Like they're all like the twos and the threes, but nobody that's great because no team is deep these days when it comes to arms, especially with the sticky stuff going away. Is that your general assessment as far as this slate? We'll talk about it obviously, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, it's Coors. It's not a whole lot of pitchers to like, but it does look like, I mean, based on ownership projections right now, there's one offense on this slate that's like one of the best GPP offenses of the year, it feels like. So we'll get into that.
Yeah, so you say there's not a lot of pitchers to like, and I agree with that, but there's not a lot of pitchers to hate. They're all sort of like, well, these guys, I don't necessarily want, it's like, I don't want to pick on this guy. I don't want to roster this guy. And that's like 20 of the pitchers tonight. Is that an absurd thing to say?
Yeah, and I think people are going to make mistakes because of it. Like there's one pitcher that projects high owned that does not actually project well, and the offense against him projects incredibly well. And so it's like a really interesting dynamic, I feel like, tonight.
All right. Well, I don't want to. Let's get the suspense out the way. I'm curious what that is. My brain is telling me that might be, knowing you. I took a peek at the bat earlier today. I don't know what it's looking like right now, but I'm going to guess. Do you want to kind of sort of somewhat possibly pick on Max Scherzer? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, not Scherzer. I actually do like Scherzer probably more than the field. He's not awesome, obviously, against the Dodgers. But there's like a mid-tier pitcher that it looks like it's going to be super high owned. And because of the way the slate is, the offense against him looks really good.
Do you like Oakland?
What's that?
I'll stop guessing. Do you like Oakland?
No, it's not Oakland. It's Miami.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page because I'm not going to play Smiley either. But is he the guy that people are going to fall to? We'll talk about it as an SP2.
I mean, he's projected as like the second or third highest owned guy right now. I don't know if that will wind up being the case, but that's what the projections are saying.
That is interesting because, I did my 8 rankings today as far as our value, expert rankings today. And I believe, Curtis, did you do them today as well?
I did. So don't call me out on somebody who's been scratched, please.
Yeah. I won't mention that I always do the mush. You did the mush last time. You said the Yankees are the
Man,
worst.
nobody can mush it that, but mine might be mush of the year.
What'd you say? The Yankees are awful.
I said dog water. Yankees are dog water. End of the show. They put up their most runs they put up all season.
There you go. The old reverse jinx. But I did not rank Smiley today, dollar for dollar. Still, I did not rank him in my top 8. Did he make your rankings? Do you remember?
I think he was at the very end, if I remember correctly. I was like toying with him, but I don't expect him to be extremely high owned by any means. I think Jamino may have been asleep when those.
Well, we still have an hour and a half to tinker with those, and obviously the closer we get to lock, the more those numbers get refined, the more information that comes in, the more starting lineups, the more weather info, all that good stuff, and the hamster is still moving on the wheel. There's plenty of time for that, but yeah. Well, do you want to talk about Smiley, or you want to talk about the up top? Where it's Mad Max and it's Lance Lynn, Max the better pitcher, Lynn the better matchup. What are you doing with that?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure whether Cardi was going where you thought he was going to, was taking some of the Dodgers against Scherzer, but because the Scherzer is the top overall projected pitcher, he's also the most expensive. He's also the one true ace that we have on this slate. So I think he's great for GDP. It's a tough matchup against the Dodgers. I mean, I could see this game working out for him. I could see him giving up a bunch of homers. I could, I could see both ends of it. So I think Lance Lynn, I think you just got to roll with the matchup. He's had a smidge of sticky decline, but spin rate decline, but not so bad. And but it's all about the matchup with the strikeouts with Detroit. And we know we can be extremely confident in how deep he's going to go. So Lance Lynn is my guy. I think it gets interesting. I mean, like you said, we have not a lot of pitchers to hate. I mean, we have like a ton of decent pitchers.
Yeah.
And I would normally be super excited to play Eduardo Rodriguez, Erod. That's my man. Nobody's been screaming. Well, Cardi's been saying it too, about how bad this guy's been running, how good of a pitcher he is. He's just been running terribly. But like, I'm a little worried with the matchup. I'm a little worried that he's kind of now getting chalky. I still like him, but if he was, I kind of wish he was priced up a little bit higher so that we could get less ownership on him. But we've got guys like, I know Cheese is all over Logan Gilbert, and rightfully so. He's been great over the last month. He seems to have really turned it on. Then, I would love to play Sonny Gray, but unfortunately we have to worry about, pitch count concerns coming out.
Maybe 70. How many are we going to get out of Gray?
Yeah, we're not going to get enough.
68. Yeah, so that's about right.
Yeah, so you can't do it. Zach Gallen, that there might be some optimism there because, he is starting to get stretched out. So maybe he goes a little bit longer. Alek Manoah has like a ton of upside. It's just, he hasn't quite put it all together. He did look pretty good in his last start. Has strikeout upside. He's had some tough matchups. He's had some tough umpire matchups too. And I've watched him, just kind of lose his head on the mound, but that should get better and better with each start. Alex Wood, whose slider hasn't been great like it used to be, but he's very much in the mix. I mean, we've got pitcher after pitcher. And the last guy before I'll shut up is I really like JT Brubaker tonight. I think this kid's going to be good. I'm pretty optimistic on him going forward, and really it's just a matchup with the Brew Crew and the price. So I don't know. We got Kyle Gibson. We've got so many arms to choose from.
I like that Gibson Gilbert matchup. I agree that Brubaker is interesting. You're just playing the matchup. You're playing the ballpark in the National League. There's plenty of Ks also in that Milwaukee lineup. We saw, Hira's back, so some power, but certainly not a strikeout ability as well too. Yelich, I don't believe Yelich is like the guy we think he is. Like I think he was last couple of years. I think there's something going on there. The numbers are showing that out. JBJ, great defender. Awesome move last night in the field. I don't know if you guys saw that deke he had to pick off the guy from first. It was pretty incredible.
Amazing. Never seen that before. I was like, did I just see this correctly? That he just did the fake home run and caught it and threw the double play. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was just an incredible play, but very clever of him and picking off the guy from first base. And yeah, he's like caught up to the side. Like he's looking over the fence and then I'll just get the ball to the side.
Yeah, he did like the back thing where we all look at like up, they know it's gone, and we're like, that's how we tell that it's a home run.
I was watching the game without volume. I'm like, man, there goes a 2-run homer. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
And then I was like, whoa, what just happened? That was incredible. All right, Cardi, start with the top. Scherzer versus Lynn. Money is not a thing. Who do you have ahead of the other one?
Scherzer. And it seems like Lynn is going to be the more popular of the two. And I think it's really just a matter of simplistic analysis that like the human brain is trying to do here. You're like, well, it's two good pitchers and Lynn has the better matchup. And Lynn's cheaper. So I'm just going to play Lynn. But the assumption is that they're like comparably talented pitchers, and they're not. Max Scherzer is one of the absolute best pitchers in baseball, and Lance Lynn is just very good. Like there is a significant talent gap between the two, even though both are very, very good pitchers. Scherzer's matchup is a lot tougher against the Dodgers, but it's not a full strength Dodgers matchup or Dodgers lineup. And Scherzer is better. That's really what it comes down to. Lynn has a wide platoon split. He's facing 5 opposite handers here. Scherzer has the umpire advantage. The bat just likes Scherzer more, and I trust the bat. And so I think Scherzer is the better play here, even though Lynn has the better matchup. And I don't have a problem playing Lynn if you want. But the problem really is that, like, outside of Coors, like we've kind of said, there's not a whole lot of offense to really love here. So, like, what are you actually getting with the savings? So I think you just play Scherzer, especially in GPPs where you're going to get the ownership discount anyway. Like, definitely play Scherzer.
Yeah, and I like to go double barrel when there's 2 clear, studs. And like it's again, DK made it so they didn't learn from yesterday. It's so easy to get Max and Lynn and a Cardinal stack. Like it's so easy to do, and everybody else sees it. It didn't necessarily actually. There was a lot of offense yesterday. I had that yesterday, and I ended up I cashed with I think get Altuve as a 1-off or something like that, which worked out for me. But Dodgers have been busy today, by the way. They're right there at the White House. I don't know if you want to say they're distracted, Cardi. Is that factored into the bat at all?
Oh yeah, the bat's got a distraction factor in there. That's in there.
They're at some photo ops there at the White House. They're in D.C. and oh god, who was the reliever that was wearing the mariachi jacket? Did you guys catch that? That was pretty awesome.
I did not.
Yeah, the guy who has got the famous GIF too, like where he makes the face, and they have a mural of him in L.A. Why can't I think of his name? Somebody in chat will let me know, or maybe Curtis let me know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so let's kind of work our way down, Cardi.
I thought we were going to talk about was Bauer there?
I don't know if Bauer was there.
No, we were going to talk about Bauer this show. No,
I don't think we're talking about Bauer.
No.
I think it's a good idea to steer clear of that. Twitter does plenty of talking
apparently
about
Siege like to take a opposite side of what I was on last night with me. I find that
I don't know what his take was, but let's just not go down that route. But he's gone for at least a week. We'll see. So Erod's going to be chalky, Cardi. He's been super unlucky this year. It's something you've talked about. Curtis has talked about it. Suppressing ballpark strikeouts in that ballpark there in Oakland, obviously, but it's the cavernous ballpark, so it's tough to go up homers. If you look at the ERA versus the SIERA and all the advanced data, the BABIP is kind of goofy as well too. He's been unlucky. Does he get right? Is this a comfortable landing spot, despite the fact it's not really in Oakland? They do have a couple weird creative players. Sky Bolt is still a person that plays for Oakland. I think
Sky Bolt.
There was another guy. What was the other name? Frank Schwindel. Do you have a proof of life of Frank Schwindel?
Yeah, he's hit a couple of home runs the last few days, hasn't he? He's
just what a name.
Yeah, it's a good name. But yeah, Erod's a guy that I think you have to play tonight. He's your SP2 on DraftKings, whether you want to go Scherzer or Lynn or whatever. I think not playing Erod's a mistake. I get the argument of playing double barrel, like you can afford whatever you want, sort of. But like Erod's just as good as Lynn tonight, or at least close enough where the savings do matter there. And I think you can make the case, honestly, for Erod as your SP1 on FanDuel, because it's not like the spot for Scherzer is amazing. Erod is so cheap on FanDuel. I have no problem with that. But Erod is the unluckiest pitcher in baseball this year. He has an 11 strikeout per 9, a good walk rate. He has an ERA of almost 6 and an xFIP of almost 3. Like, he's been incredible and incredibly unlucky. And the matchup today, is such a great shift in context for him. Like normally he pitches in Fenway. It's a tough park. It's summer now. It's kind of been hot in Fenway lately. He's going into Oakland, third best pitchers park in baseball, easily the best pitching weather of the night there. The only game under 60 degrees, one of only a couple under 70. And yeah, so play Erod tonight. Like I don't care about the ERA. I don't care about anything. He's too cheap. The shift in context is great. Play Erod.
Oh, you say how unlucky Erod's been. He's been the reverse Babe Ruth, as we discovered on Twitter today. I saw this stat, Kirkies, I'm not sure you saw this, but Babe Ruth in 91 innings, 14 strikeouts in 91 innings and 47 walks, and he had a 3.56 ERA. How is that possible?
It's possible because no one was hitting home runs back then. The run environment is entirely different than we're accustomed to right now.
My theory was like there's like 7 errors a game or something like that. So none of the runs are earned. A really friendly scorekeeper or something, but a lot of double plays, I guess. I just thought that was so weird. 47 walks in 91 innings. Ruth, was he a good pitcher? We sure? I don't know. Hey, you know what? This is Daily Fantasy Sports, Kirkies. All we care about is today and today only, not 1919. All right. Do you have an official take as far as Erod? I know you touched on it before there, Kirkies. Feel free to finish on it. And, as far as guys like Gibson, just that matchup we talked about in general, Gibson versus Gilbert, I think both those guys are pretty interesting there. Do you have anybody separating themselves from the pack, or it's just kind of like a pack and just, pick your favorite, whatever?
Gibson may be separating himself from the pack. I mean, he just goes unnoticed, it seems like, because he's not like the sexy name. He's been really good. He's, basically he's coming off where his season high strikeouts, where he struck out 10 batters in the last game. So I'm expecting, and it's a good matchup for him. So I'm expecting a good game out of him. Erod, I love. Like, I do love him. I would go crazy to play him tonight. I'm just scared that he's chalk because I know
he's gonna be.
Yeah, what Erod chalk just never seems to usually work out. But and Oakland is a tough, they don't strike out a ton. They're 20th in strikeouts against right-handed or against left-hand. Wait, no, I'm probably looking at the wrong matchup.
They're like average for strikeouts.
Yeah.
It's not a great matchup for strikeouts.
Yeah, 21st against left-handed pitching. So, a little bit below average. I mean, you know what I'm saying. From a strikeout standpoint, they have a bunch of power, could get to them. So I do worry there. I mean, I don't know what to do, to be honest with you. There's so many arms. Like, I want to get on Zach Gallen. I feel like that's like the GPP play tonight.
Why?
Because we know what he's capable of, and he just hasn't quite been there. He had one good start against Milwaukee. He did have a good start against Atlanta earlier before, he was injured. But he's now working his way back, and his pitch count is now being stretched out further. And so I think we can expect a little bit longer. And, San Francisco is good, but they're much better against left-handed pitching. And so I think I just want to buy low on Zach Gallen. So I'm trying to look for guys that can outperform tonight that won't be that high owned. And I think then he fits the bill. Manoah is another guy that fits the bill too. We know that Tampa strikes out, and this is a strikeout high pedigree arm. I don't know who else really. I mean, there's just so many. Like I said, Burbaker is a guy that I really want to play too tonight as well.
I mean, the Gallen one I'm just not in on because I feel like all these other guys are just better. And Gallen, we haven't seen him really totally fully stretched out. He was one of the most vocal guys about the sticky stuff, and he caused this whole controversy because Mike Hill, the guy who used to work for the Marlins, his former team, basically told him allegedly this is what you got to use, and it was a whole thing, and he clearly wants to use it. I don't know, man, and I just, and also San Fran's just a team I don't think I want to pick on necessarily, even the pretty contact heavy team as well. So I'm not getting there, but I hear you, and there's no meaningful discount either. There's the other part of it. I'll take Gilbert, I'll take Gibson, and the Gilbert matchup, Cardi. I mean, I don't know, to touch on Gibson and Gilbert, because both those guys to me are pretty intriguing. Texas, I know, okay, Gallo's going to hit a solo home run. I guess you just got to give that up, right? Gallo's on fire. But 25% Ks for Gilbert, pretty solid. 6% walk, pretty solid. It is a Texas team that strikes out plenty. 30% for Garcia. Culberson's in the lineup at 33%, 27% collectively striking out versus righties this year. Are you in? Are you in on Gilbert?
Yeah, the bat likes Gilbert as the top point per dollar guy on the slate, like just a smidge ahead of Erod. So I have no problem with Gilbert tonight. I think the spot is fine. I think he's talented enough, and the price is low enough. That's the main thing here. The price is low enough. I'm not super in on Gibson. Like he's like a league average pitcher, doesn't strike out a lot of guys. It's not a great strikeout spot. He's just too expensive on a slate like this. Like I prefer Gilbert. I prefer Brubaker. Um, I like Alex Wood and Frankie Montas quite a bit. They're kind of in that like awkward price range where it's not like spending up, it's not spending down. Neither one's in like an amazing spot, but both are in pretty good spots and they both project at low ownership. So I think they're really interesting for GPPs. Wood is just good. Arizona is not. It's not a great strikeout matchup. It's a park downgrade, but like a guy with Wood's talent, he projects as the third best pitcher on the slate after Scherzer and Lynn. And he projects at 7% ownership. So I like Alex Wood. Montas, people aren't going to want to play him because it's Boston. But it's a massive park and weather downshift for Boston. So I have no problem, playing a little bit of Montas also.
And that's the nature of the slate. Like we're mentioning all these pitchers that are fine. We didn't mention Lance McCullers. Like I don't think we're rostering him. Like no, not for that price. But
Yeah, the price.
But we're not picking on him. I don't think we're really going out our way to pick up. Framil Reyes is back, by the way, for Cleveland. Good for them. Nice to see. We didn't mention Pablo Lopez, one of the better pitchers in the slate. And not a great ballpark. You don't really pick on Atlanta. Acuna's back. Julio Urias against Washington without Trey Turner for what it's worth. Like he's interesting too. It's a bunch of pitchers, Kirk D's, just a bunch of dudes that I don't feel like I have to play, but I also don't necessarily want to pick on. And then there's Coors Field sitting right there. And then of course the ownership game. And there's going to be another team or another game that outscores Coors Field. I don't know which one it's going to be. Like most likely, math says the Field's going to beat it, but I don't know who. I can't tell you. I can't pinpoint which team's going to outscore St. Louis, and they've also been terrible. But the matchup tonight is better than it was last night. These pitchers on the mound tonight for St. Louis and Colorado, possibly the two worst pitchers in the worst pitching situation. Is that hyperbolic, Cardi, or is that actually a reasonable thing to say? I think they might be the two worst pitchers in the slate.
Who is this right now? The Coors guys?
Oviedo and Chichi. Like actual skills.
Yeah, the only guy that projects worse is Henkes, and then it's Oviedo and Chichi as the worst on the slate. So I mean, it's clearly a Coors night. Like that. Maybe they'll be overowned. Maybe you don't have to eat the chalk. Like the Field, like you said, someone's going to beat them. But from a probability standpoint, if you just have to pick one team or one game, it's clearly Coors.
Yeah, you don't get the Field. Your lineup, you can only get one. Like one team.
You play the Field in DFS. That's not something DraftKings lets you do.
Give us the final word here, Kirk D's, as far as pitchers. And chat, if we haven't talked about your pitcher, you want to hear more elaborate conversation, feel free to ask about him. Devin, our producer extraordinaire, he's pulling those questions from chat, and he'll be feeding them my way, and I will be asking on your behalf to these two fine gentlemen. Later on in the show, last 10, 15 minutes or so, give or take, depending on how our conversation goes. Curtis, give me your summary as far as arms.
Man, I don't know what to say, but I mean, it's Lance Lynn and Max Scherzer at the top. You're going to pair one of those probably with Erod or Logan Gilbert for the savings, but there's a plethora of other choices that you can get different with and feel good about, like Brubaker, like Manoah for me. I know you guys don't seem too high on him, but there's even guys like Alex Wood. Like there's just so many options here. So you can get a little, you can just start building pretty funky with pitcher tonight.
Cardi?
Yeah, you're playing Erod, I think, on both sites. And then on DraftKings, you're playing either Scherzer or Lynn. In cash, probably Scherzer. And in GPPs, you're going heavier on Scherzer than Lynn, and you're mixing in guys like Alex Wood, Montas, Gilbert, Brubaker. That's pitching.
All right. Before we talk about, we're going to go around the horn briefly, and then again, hit up your questions there in chat. Feel free to fire them off. I find it's better to talk about stacks first, just to get an overarching conversation as far as a slate. So I'll throw it to you, Cardi. Well, the stacks that you're most interested in, and of course, maybe a little bit off the beaten path, a little bit away from Coors, obviously.
Miami, and Miami. I
like that.
A little more Miami after that. If Smiley's we really didn't even talk about Smiley in pitching. I guess we don't have interest in him, but he's projected as one of the highest owned pitchers on the slate. And the Miami Marlins project, in terms of stacks, as the number one point per dollar stack on the slate. And if you exclude the two Coors teams, as the number one, just raw point stack on the slate. So
Oh, wow.
it's Cardinals, Rockies, Marlins. Drew Smiley's not a good pitcher. Drew Smiley is a well below average pitcher, probably a bad pitcher. The Marlins are getting a park upgrade. They got a bunch of righties with the platoon advantage. Smiley gives up a ton of stolen bases, so they have lots of potential to steal and get extra points that way. Hitters umpire. It's Atlanta. It's
Good prices.
It's the third hottest game of the day, and they're really cheap. So like Miami's, and you get the leverage off of Smiley. So I love Miami. I love the Cardinals and the Rockies also. They're going to be high owned. But I love Miami. I think Cincinnati's also really good tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well too. Miami was my 16 today in my rankings in my head, but and if people are actually going to be rostering Smiley, which I don't know, I don't have a good gauge on that because I'm not on him and you're not on him, and it doesn't really sound like Kirk Deese is on him, but maybe other people out are in their little our own little world, and it's just us that think whatever, we don't need them.
I have no problem playing mediocre pitchers against the Marlins because they're not a good offense. They strike out a lot, but you got to pick and choose your spots. Like your pitcher has to be like, okay, Smiley's pretty bad. It's better when you're doing it in Marlins Park, not in Atlanta when it's one of the hottest games on the slate. I just don't think Smiley makes any sense tonight.
Next Saturday, I believe I'll be in Marlins Park watching these Atlanta Braves against the Miami Marlins. There you go. First time back in a while. Kirk Deese, your thoughts here as far as not you mentioned the weather there. Nowhere is it hot. It's 78 degrees, but like there's no like amazing weather spot. I think outside of Kansas City, right? Kansas 84. It's just not a crazy weather day as far as heat, humidity, all that good stuff, as far as I can tell. Of course, Roth will, he'll clear that up if anything changes on crunch time. How do you guys become crunch time members or RG members? Get yourself $10 off the first month. You can get it for just baseball or all the sports: football, baseball, basketball, soccer, golf, everything but NASCAR. $10 off either way. We'll go ahead and drop that link in chat for you guys. While you're there, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Kirk Deese, your favorite stacks today?
Well, you have to like St. Louis and Colorado, obviously, but that when we get into the ownership discussion. But the thing about them is that their bullpens are, first of all, these are the two pitchers we probably want from each team on the hill, and then also their bullpens are really bad. So Colorado gives up a ton of home runs per nine from a bullpen standpoint. I think the St. Louis has the highest xFIP of all bullpens. So that game's easy. I like the game environment for the Cubs Reds. If we're not sure how Sonny Gray looks in his first game back, plus the Cincinnati bullpen with the highest home run per nine in the league. So you got to like the park. So I think the Cubs are going to be extremely low owned. No one's going to play them. And I think
they got their good bat. Their good bats are back.
Their lineup looks a lot better now with Rizzo and Bryant back. Was just going to say that. So like that, I can get behind the Miami. I can also get behind just using a couple of their power one-offs, like Aguilar, like Duvall, because home run, I could definitely see some home runs going down in that game. And I don't know. That's kind of, how do we not mention Jay Happ on the hill? Against Royals have definitely not been the hottest bats as of late, but certainly can put up some runs against Happ and the Twins bullpen. So Soler, Salvia is an awesome play tonight. Hunter Dozier potentially, Whit Merrifield. So I can get behind that stack, and then the Angels.
It's hard for me to stack the Angels against the lefty when their two best players are lefty. Well, I mean, if you want to say Rendon isn't, obviously Trout's not there. It's just, and the rest of the lineup is just trash. So I don't know what to do with that. Tell me why you like the Angels.
You play Ohtani, you play Rendon, you play Stassi if he makes the lineup, and you have a nice little mini stack.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I think Aiken's good, and who knows how long he lasts, and maybe they catch him in the back end there and just pummel the bullpen there. Innings 6 through 8 or something like that. So. That is one way to be different, and Vegas does like that team total at 5.42 runs projected. You mentioned the Royals. That's a good segue to catcher. I think you can just flat out. We don't really play catchers. Well, you can, of course, in tournaments. We don't really target catchers on FanDuel optimal wise. But Perez, I want to say, is 3-1 over there. Happ's issues with giving up fly balls and homers. on the season, 1.77 homers. Aforementioned Smiley, by the way, 2 homers per 9 this season. Yeah, I like the Marlins as well too. I like what Cardi was saying there. I like them like a little bit. Now I like them more as the show progresses. But Cardi, on DK, do we have the funds to pay up for Perez, or are we punting as is standard procedure?
Dean, why is Joe Kelly wearing a mariachi jacket?
That's who I was talking about. Joe Kelly, the guy with the face. Remember the tongue and the face? He traded. Okay, so there's a guy on the field the other day. Like I think the guy, he was in the field for some reason. Maybe he was a part of like the national anthem. I don't know. But he said, "Hey, I'll trade you my jersey for your mariachi jacket." And he did that like yesterday or a day ago, whatever it was. Okay. And now today he wore that mariachi jacket in the White House. It's awesome. It's just cool. Twitter's having a good time with it. But there you go. Joe Kelly seems like a fun person. I don't know. You know the tongue gif I'm talking about, right? Where he made the face, I assume, maybe?
Yeah.
All right. So
catcher. You have Yadier Molina in Coors, who's probably going to be pretty popular. I have no problem with Jorge Alfaro. Alfaro is cheaper. He's got lots of power. Smiley gives up a lot of fly balls and a lot of home runs. Alfaro is a really good play tonight. So I have no problem if you just play him in cash. Otherwise, you're playing, I think, Yadi, and Elias Diaz is way too expensive on the other side for a bad catcher. So those are, I think, your 2 options, honestly. And then in GPPs, you're playing guys that are part of your stacks, which Alfaro would be part of your Marlin stack. Whoever the catcher is for the Reds tonight, whether it's Barnhart or Stevenson. I mean, do we have a lineup there yet?
Cincinnati, we do have a lineup. It's Barnhart batting 8th, and he's 4.4K. I cannot touch that. That's too much for me.
Yeah, that's too much. All right, never mind then. But whoever else is in your stacks. But really, Alfaro and Yadi are the best.
I've been saying Diaz is too cheap for 3 days in a row, and he's homered 3 days in a row, including that walk-off yesterday. But I still think he's – I mean, no, I say he's too expensive, but I don't think he's good enough. But, yeah, whatever. I'm just bitter because I wanted extra innings last night in that St. Louis-Colorado game, and he had a walk-off in the ninth. Catchers, Kirk Dees, what do you have for me?
Chop Factors model has alerted me to the Salvador Perez BVP play of the month. He's called it. So,
play of the month.
I know it's early, but that's what's going down as a play of the month already. So that's big from Chop. So
5-star.
That.
Play of the month on July 2nd.
Yeah, that's a bold proclamation.
That's how you sports betting tout, Cardi. I know you now you're over at The Athletic pumping out articles. You're gonna have to start getting some of these tricks. I echo what Cardi says. I think it's Salvi. I think it's Molina. It's Alfaro for like the best plays here. And then I think you can go to guys like home run hunting for like guys like Grandal, who's definitely seems overpriced in the slate, harder to get to, but will be low owned. Buster Posey's been top 10 in hard contact this season. So you can get away with playing him. Max Stassi. I like personally Gary Sanchez has been heating up. But it's tough to pay for these guys. But I think that could be separation for GPPs tonight. Some of these higher priced catchers.
Rick T's first base.
First base. It starts and it ends with Paul Goldschmidt, homered yesterday, but now gets the juicy matchup with Chi. Garrett Cooper is cheap, so we can play him for sure. For looking for a home run against Smiley. Aguilar in the same camp, just a little bit more expensive at 36 as opposed to 32 for Cooper. Shohei, maybe people don't play him because it's the lefty, and if his price tag, he's not going to be an optimal play. But it's hard to argue against him for what he's been doing. Vlad, it seems like it's going to be tough to get to tonight. I think Toronto is going to be under-owned again, probably. Like that, I don't know.
I don't know how bold of a fade it is, but I'm not on Toronto today. This Luis Patino looks legit. I was looking at his minor league numbers. I know it's the minor leagues, but 3 straight starts, a five inning shutout ball, striking out the world. And I know the ballpark stinks there in Toronto as well, but it's not great weather. It's in the 60s or so. The wind is blowing out. I guess that we'll see what Roth has to say about it. But I'm not really on Toronto today, Carter. Your thoughts as far as that? Is that a mistake? Should I be on it? But I know you respect the Tampa Bay's bullpen as well too. Just generally think they run out good pitchers. And then as far as first, feel free to pick up where Kirk T's left off.
Yeah, I've been off Toronto for a few days now. Like the ballpark, the weather is not ideal. The back of the lineup these days is straight garbage. When they start getting a little healthier, especially a catcher, like that'll help. But this isn't a spot where I'm really targeting Toronto at all. First base, Goldschmidt, like Kirk D said, clearly the top guy here. You're playing him in cash, and then you're mixing it up in GPPs. He mentioned Garrett Cooper. I love my Marlins. I love Cooper. I love Jesus Aguilar in the same lineup. I think he's great. In terms of like cheaper guys, one-off guys, I think Ryan Zimmerman is a pretty solid value play, hitting cleanup, platoon advantage against Urias tonight. And I think Frank Schwindel, if he's in the Oakland lineup tonight, he's 2K. He gets a little leverage off of Erod. He's a good value. You got some power potential. I think he's fine. And I like Joey Votto quite a bit. Like I think the Reds are a good stack tonight also. And Votto's just a better player than people think he is. Like he's a legitimately very good hitter.
The only one I did not hear that I think that's in my pool, I'm not sure if I'm going to get there or not, is the Polar Bear, Alonso in Yankee Stadium versus Montgomery. I like him a good bit, but not prioritizing it. Obviously, Goldie is, if you're playing cash games, 50-50s, whatever, like that's where you got to start. Like just whatever, don't get cute. No reason to get away from that. Second base, Cardi, set the table for us.
Wait, can I just add one first baseman
Sure.
that I forgot? Mancini. Griffin Canning has spin rate issues, and I don't think anyone's going to play this guy. He's 4,100. He's kind of in that nice little range by himself that people aren't going to – they're either going to go down for these Marlin guys or go up for the Goldschmidts, and I could definitely see like a double-down game from Trey Mancini.
Canning has homer issues too.
Yep, go ahead.
Cardi, second.
These are my jazz hands.
But it's lefty. You can't do it.
You absolutely can do it. Smiley's a reverse splits guy. Smiley allows stolen bases, so Jazz has chances to score points there. If you like the offense in general, you have to like their leadoff hitter. He's got the park upgrade. I like Jazz a lot tonight. If you have the extra money, you can pretty easily get up to Garrett Hampson. He's the preferred play in Coors, hitting second. But I have no problem with Jazz tonight, especially in GPPs. Like Jazz projects like it for what's it look like 7 times lower ownership than Hampson. It just play Jazz in those situations. Play Jazz in your Marlin stacks. Those are definitely your two second basemen that you're deciding between. On FanDuel, I think you can throw Brandon Lau into the mix there. The Rays are in a pretty good spot or a good enough spot. It's in terms of Toronto, it's not as good of an environment as they were playing in for most of the year. In terms of Tampa, it's a nice park upgrade from Tropicana. So this is a good spot for them. Manoah, as talented as he is, he's not like amazing yet. And on FanDuel, what is Lau's price? It's definitely
like 3-1 or 3-2.
3,200 leading off, platoon advantage. Like he's a really good play over there.
Kirk Dees, feel free to clean that up, whatever was missed there by Cardi, and knock out third base.
My ears are still ringing from you laughing at the Jazz hands.
Sorry,
we needed warning there.
I didn't know it was coming.
It got chopped too. Tommy Edman for sure. Also, I don't think we mentioned at second base. All right, third base. We can play Ryan McMahon here. We can play Arenado, obviously. I mean, you got to figure Arenado's not leaving Coors without at least one homer, right? Like,
sure,
definitely. So it didn't work out so well yesterday, but today is a nice right matchup for him. Rendon gets the platoon against Baltimore and a not good pitcher in Aiken. You got Eugenio Suarez against the slow throwing Alec Mills. So if he's going to be making contact, he usually crushes the ball when he does. So I think that's a potential home run call. I don't know, other guys like Jose Ramirez, but that's kind of all the guys I've been looking at.
Cardi, third base?
Yeah, Arenado, clearly the guy you want to try to get to. McMahon is fine. Eugenio Suarez, I like quite a bit. Someone asked in chat, why does the bat like Suarez? He's been horrible this year. He hasn't actually been horrible. He's been showing the same elite power he's always shown. He just has a 192 BABIP. That's not going to continue. Like that's going to jump 100 points. And when it does, he's going to look a lot better than he currently does. The Reds are in a really good spot tonight. Like elite hitters park, great hitting weather. One of the worst pitchers on the slate. I'm really surprised more people aren't on Cincinnati tonight because they're a good offense. They're good power offense. So I like Suarez a lot. I like the Coors guys. Is there a Marlin here? I don't really think there's a great Marlin in your stack. Birdie's not like awesome. I think you can find better
He's got
guys.
speed.
What's that?
He's got some speed.
He's got some speed. It's not like they're going to be popular tonight, though, where you have to like differentiate really. So I don't think you have to do that. I think it's Suarez, it's Arenado, it's McMahon. That's kind of third base.
You mentioned Chop lurking in chat. I actually pulled up his play of the month, BBP play of the month. Sal Perez, 23 at bats, 9 homers, a double and 4 dongs, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. That's a 565 ISO, a 559 WOBA. There you go. Get excited. Roster yourself some Sal Perez. On FanDuel, I mean, it's so much easier to get than a DK, but of course you can spend up on DK. Well, if you're getting the cheaper pitchers, the ones in the 8K or so, it's not that hard to get Perez either. Cardi, shortstop, what do you have for me?
Trevor Story, if you can get there, I mean, it's like Coors is the thing tonight in cash games. Coors and cheap Marlins to make it work. That's the whole thing. So if you can get up to Story, awesome. If you need to save money with Paul DeYoung, he's hitting 7th tonight, which is a little better than like his usual 8th. He's 3.4K against Chichi Gonzalez in Coors Field, and he's a decent hitter with power. So yeah, play one of those two. That's shortstop. That is the only thing to do in cash games if you're not horrible at DFS. You can play Farmer, I guess, in your red stacks. You can play Rojas, I guess, in your Marlin stacks. My interest tonight is pretty condensed.
All right, Kirk D's, knock out some shortstops for us.
Yeah, so I agree. Those are the cash choices, but for GPPs, we gotta mix it up here a little bit, right? So I think Carlos Correa is, kind of high, 5,200 is not going to get a lot of action because of his price tag there. People are just going to get up the Story or go down to DeYoung, but he should be there. I think Javier Baez could wreak some havoc on the base paths against Sonny Gray and potentially open up this game if he's not pitching well and not pitching that long. Like I said, I kind of like the Cubs. Wander Franco maybe, Brandon Crawford maybe. I'm kind of reaching a little bit, but I mean you can always play Xander. But I don't know, the Carlos Correa and Javier Baez are kind of my 2 GPP guys.
I just want to mention that Houston lineup is weaker than it normally is. No Gurriel, no Alvarez. He went on paternity leave. And, of course, Bregman is out, too. So if you're looking at the Houston lineup, it looks kind of funky. That's the reason why. It bumps up Tucker to the 4 spot. McCormick is batting 5. And then Toro and Taylor Jones. I think Taylor Jones has a lot of power. Can you confirm that, Cardi, off the dome? I think he's one of those, big, all or nothing guys that's not fully developed just yet. Is that Taylor Jones, or am I thinking another person? Not sure. But he is 2K for what it's worth. Hey, if you guys are in chat, fire up for questions. Devin's compiling them. We're going to turn over your questions just a second after we do the outfield. Curtis, you want to start outfield for us?
Sure. I'm sure we like Tyler O'Neill, who's just somehow only 4,100 batting cleanup in Coors.
He's always too cheap, and they didn't even raise his price in Coors. Like, he's the best outfielder on the slate by like 3 points, and he's 4,100. It's so stupid.
Yep. And then Dylan Carlson right behind him at 3,900. Jesse Winker, I know Cheese loved that. I agree. I echo the sentiment. I think Alec Mills is horrendous, slow thrower. Definitely like him. Adam Duvall, I like a lot. I'm sure Cardi will like that as well. Hunter Dozier, although we can play him at third, we can also play him in the outfield. Jorge Soler. I mean, I want to attack Hap. So I'm going to want some of these Royals guys. And then, the Houston guys, even though it's lefty, but Kyle Tucker gets the good lineup spot. Castellanos, because I like the both sides of that game. I don't know. Those are my first. That's the select group that I'm looking to first.
Cardi?
Yeah, all 3 of the Cardinals guys, especially Tyler O'Neill, but Bader and Carlson too. Adam Duvall, like Kirk D said. We haven't talked a lot about Royals yet, but you mentioned Dozier. The Royals are one of the better offenses tonight. Soler is also really good. The Astros are facing the actual weakest pitcher on the slate tonight, so they're fine. Kyle Tucker is way too cheap, and he's hitting cleanup tonight. So And it's a big park upgrade for them. So I like the Astros. I like the Royals. I like the Marlins. I like the Cardinals guys. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Maybe Austin Meadows on FanDuel you could throw into your mix because I think the Rays are good. That's outfield.
Taylor Jones, 6'7", 230 pounds. I knew I remembered this guy. He's a big boy. 6'7", 230, 27 years old, 2K on DK. He hit 22 homers in the minor leagues in 2019. So there you go. And again, that Houston lineup, they're without Alvarez. Bregman's obviously hurt, and I guess they're giving Gurriel a day. All right, bunch of questions here. We're going to go straight to lightning round. We're going to play. Let's play the stack game first. You guys know how this works. Rank them 1 through 5. 1 means you hate them. 5 means you love them. Anywhere in between, you can figure that out. Kirkies, you're batting first. Miami, 1 through 5.
I'm gonna let Cardi do 5. I'll say 4.
I'm going to say 1,032 because you should play a lot of Marlins.
Big number. Chicago, I don't know which Chicago. Well, that's the Cubs, I guess, because we have the White Sox later. The Cubbies.
I'll give them a 3. I think they have enough upside. They're just kind of expensive.
I'm gonna 4.
Yeah.
Well, Angels for Kirk D's.
Yeah, I'm 4. Another 4 for me.
Cardi?
2.
Now more in the Cardi camp in that one. Minnesota for Kirk D's.
You know, I was just kind of thinking that, but the park. I'll say like a 3 because I mean they have the home run upside for sure.
Yeah, it's a 3 or 4 for me. I'll say 4.
Couple more. Kirkies, Kansas City.
5.
Wow, it's a big number.
Yeah, 4 or 5 for me also. I guess I say 4.
The White Sox, and there's an interesting player today for the White Sox. They sent down Yermin. And they have another 2K. Well, they have a couple interesting things. Sheets is batting second. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Hold on. They sent down Yermin. I was told back in April when he was 5K that you were stupid not to play him because
He's a lefty masher. It was against the lefty.
You see how strong he is, though? He
was facing a lefty. It was an autoplay.
So Gavin Sheets is 2.5K, and that's what against Casey Mize. And Mize has shown split so far, and Sheets has shown a ton of power in the minors. They just bumped him right up to the 2 spot. He was batting 7 or 8 or 9 the other day. And there's Jake Berger, who's 2K. Like, if you want to get yourself some cheap power, Berger's another guy that's shown. I don't know a ton about this guy, but I saw on Twitter, like the White Sox Twitter people are very excited. I think it was 60 power grade, Cardi, on the 80 scale. So, yeah, people are excited about the Jake Berger being up. I don't think he's available on FanDuel, but that's a way to get some potential cheap power today, Sheets and Berger. That said, Kirkies, last one, White Sox, 1 through 5.
I like them too because they could just blow up against the Tigers in the bullpen. And Mize had some spin rate. He's been declining too, and probably wearing down because he's so young and hasn't pitched deep, But I'll say 4.
Eaton is back as well. Cardi?
2.
Oh, that's a 3 then. If Eaton's back, that's 3. Lowering my.
I wasn't saying it like it's an upgrade necessarily. He's pesky. Yeah. We're in lightning round right away, boys. We have a lot of questions loading up. I'm going to give the tournament questions to Kirk D's, the cash questions to Cardi. Starting off, the DK GPP tournaments. Can I fade Max today?
Oh, absolutely.
What are Cardi's favorite low end starting pitchers for FanDuel?
Erod.
Sneakiest stacks today, Kirk D's.
Cubs.
DK GPP thoughts on Alec Mills. I don't think they're positive, right?
No.
Yeah. Same deal with DK GPP Gibson. Who wants to give a Gibson thought?
Play him.
All right. Zach Gallen, you were endorsing Gallen. They're asking about Gallen. I'm not on Gallen today. I think there's many other options. It's
trying to be optimistic, and you're trying to get there with somebody who's not going to be owned. So I believe in the talent. He's coming back from injury. He's getting stretched out. So I'm just trying to be optimistic and have a good start here.
DK GPP, can I fade St. Louis? That's for you, Kirkies.
Yeah, I mean, of course you can. I mean, they're probably going to go off, but yeah, there's a lot of offenses that could beat them tonight.
Dean, they're asking me specifically if I watched Bobby Brown take down Keith Sweat last night. I did not on Versus. I did as a child have a poster of Bobby Brown on my wall. It was my prerogative. There's an old dad joke there for somebody. Every little step. All right, well, no more Bobby Brown songs. Is it crazy to fade Coors as a whole, just fading the whole entire game? Is that crazy? Cardi?
Cash, it's crazy. Yeah, and Cash, you're a horrible DFS player if you do it. In GPPs, you can fade whatever offense you want. Like, if they're going to be too high owned, then they're going to be too high owned. So, I mean, they're the obviously best spot tonight. So, but it's baseball, you know? Fade them if you want.
We are lightning round, so we got to speed this up. A couple more before we step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time. Is the roof open in Arizona? I believe it is closed. Best outfield play on Yahoo. Let's go to Kid Yahoo on that one.
And so it would depend, like if you're trying to win like their big GPP or not. But the best, Tyler O'Neill is the best play. Jorge Soler is like the second best play, just because of pricing.
Cardi, pick one of these three punts. Nick Gordon, this is FanDuel. They're total crappers. Nick Gordon, Taylor Jones, or Ed Olivares.
Jeez, I don't know. Those aren't FanDuel plays. Like
it's Taylor Jones. I said before, I hyped the guy up. He's got 6'7".
All right, Taylor Jones. Then he's got the good body and the good face, according to Dean. So
I didn't say anything about his face. So starting pitcher, Cardi, give me my SP2. Is it Gilbert or is it Gibson?
I'll take Gilbert before Gibson, but not in front of Erod, not for cash games. In GPPs, Gilbert.
Is Mize viable? I mean, not for 9K. I'm not paying 9K for Mize. We're not playing Mize, are we?
Not me.
Yeah. All right. Before we step aside and get out of here, make way for crunch time, the premium show. Give me a couple homers. Kirk Dees, you're going to bat first. Be as ambitious as you want to be. 2-3 guys that are banging out some home runs tonight.
I'm going to just say Adam Duvall.
Revenge.
and I'm going to let Cardi. I mean, I'm not going to say the St. Louis guys. That's just.
Take Arenado, get all the revenge guys out the way.
Sure, I'll take him. I mean, last night the Brantley was an easy call yesterday.
How was that an easy call? He's not like
back in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Cardi, what do you have?
I mean, he's still Duvall, who's the best home run play of the night. So I'll say Castellanos high end. I'll go O'Neill mid tier just because he's just such a good play, and Jorge Soler lower.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one.
I will say one of Taylor Jones, Gavin Sheets, or Jake Berger. Maybe two. We'll see. Dollar for dollar, though, for dongs. There you go. Those guys all have power. Somebody's going to homer out of those three. That's it. That's the show. Do appreciate you guys watching. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. That was baseball. That was Derek Carty, Devin for producing. That was Kirk Dees. I was Dean. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your 4th of July. Stay safe, everybody. Stay tuned for crunch time. We're out of here. Hold.